Mark Carney says it was wide-ranging and constructive discussion. He said there was a change in perspective during the meeting, and there is a plan and desire for both countries to move forward. In his assessment, Mr. Carney said the conversation felt like one where both sides do want to work things out. But he did add a couple of points that might raise an eyebrow. He said, we will join new markets. Canada will join new markets around the world. And he said, we can give ourselves far more than any government can take away. Now, Trump had earlier said he would not get rid of tariffs. Carney says he did expect that, saying the situation with trade is complicated and there will be a series of negotiations that have to take place. He also mentioned he's going to meet with the premiers tomorrow through a phone call to get everybody up to speed. So let's unpack some of this with Beth Burke, CEO of Canadian-American Business Council. Beth, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So what is your first kind of takeaway from both the Oval Office meeting and then hearing from Mr. Carney just now?
I think it's great news. I feel like this is a wonderful first step. I think it's exactly what we had all hoped for, right? The beginning of a conversation that brings us back to business. Having a conversation about how we work well together is so important because we've done it in all of our history. We have collaborated to make our economies stronger, and having the conversation to get back to that place is really important. And I feel heartened by the comments today. Okay,
as you know, the American president put a message on social media and reiterated in front of the prime minister saying the U.S. didn't need anything from Canada. He said that a couple of times. What do you make of this tactic?
I think it's a negotiation, right? You put all of your leverage as far as you can out in the beginning. You don't want to concede the points before you're in the negotiation. So I think it's a tool.
Okay,
let's talk something we've seen him do before, you know.
He also said tariffs will stay. I'm wondering if you believe that to be a negotiating tactic, or do you think he's firm on that?
I hope it's a negotiating tactic. I think we've seen as he's utilized this throughout really the beginning of his presidency to today, he has been open to conversations and shifting the position a bit as facts come to light and impacts show. I think we have a job as the business community to highlight those impacts and really show the interconnectedness. I think we've been doing it and we will continue to come to the table to talk about how important our economic reliance and security on one another really is. I think there's also a really important conversation around the security piece that has come up several times, both in the Oval and in the Prime Minister's press conference, really that the focus on the border working well is really important. And that's also a really good thing because we have to be mutually aligned on how to handle illicit activity or bad things moving back and forth between our countries before we can really find a clear path for legitimate commerce as well and to work together on that.
Export numbers came out for Canada March. The number was, of course, smaller than it was in February. The deficit number was smaller than February. But Canada seemed to have done a good job of exporting to other markets rather than sort of sitting around and waiting to find out what's going to happen with the tariff situation. I'm wondering what you see as a plan B for Canada and the U.S. if the trade talks just don't go well or aren't successful.
I think there's a couple of things to that. First, you know, we will always trade with one another in some form or fashion. It's just inevitable. We share the same land. We've been doing it for hundreds of years. We are in a place where trade will happen. The question is, can we get to a framework where it's mutually beneficial? And I am cautiously optimistic that we are going to get there. The other thing is, it's in the people of both countries' DNA to work together. We always have. So as important as these agreements are and as the leader conversations are, the business community and the citizens of both Canada and the U.S. know how to work together and build things together and create. So I think that's really important. The other thing I will say around the diversification conversation is that it's a good thing to strengthen our economies, right? I think it's a really good thing for Canada to look at all of its options, to look at, you know, interprovincial trade barriers, regulatory cooperation, tax policy, et cetera, to strengthen their economic resiliency. It's a good thing for Canada. It's a good thing for the U.S. And it's a good thing for the relationship for both of us to be strong.
How would you say the bilateral businesses have done so far, given what has happened over the past couple of months?
Business is extremely resilient and very focused on finding a way forward. And I think we have been all working very diligently to navigate and be at the table to make sure that the importance of the community is first and foremost in these discussions.
Let me also ask you about the earnings seasons. We've seen some companies come out, report on Q1, maybe not so affected by the tariffs in place quite yet. But many of them are not providing guidance or are adjusting their guidance because of the uncertainty around the economy. What's your take on that lack of guidance?
I think there has been a lot of sort of waiting to see how this plays out, except, I think publicly waiting to see what goes out. Internally, businesses always operate with plans A, B, C, D, through Z, right? Like we are always looking at all the different options. I think figuring out where we go from here as the rapid changes in these policies have been happening over the last 100 days. I think everybody is trying to adjust and move quickly and provide clear guidance when it's available.
What kind of advice do you have for companies on both sides of the border? What's the council saying?
We are focused on opportunities and focused on finding ways that we can continue to put some wins on the board for the relationship. I think we're really focused on doing everything we can to make our voices heard, to be part of it, part of the conversation, which, again, really great to see that the page is sort of turning and that the countries are back at the table talking to one another about getting out of this. I think really focusing on what we can do is the most important thing at this moment. And
what are you hearing back from your conversations with businesses on both sides of the border? What are owners saying?
I think there's a moment of reflection and trying to figure out how to really keep things running because it's so important and we're so interconnected. We've spent so much time building business the way that we have, right? The North American Free Trade Agreement was set up. We started shaping business through North America. USMCA came, and now we're at the review moment. And I think businesses are trying to look at how we've established ourselves throughout North America and how we can continue that interconnectivity in a meaningful, beneficial way to all countries involved.
Are you concerned that the negotiation is going to take a long period of time and nothing's going to, or a lot of the business will be stalled in that interim period?
I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I think we have all been planning for it. I mean, there was a very clear deadline in the USMCA, so we all knew a review is coming. We've all been preparing. We've been having a lot of internal conversations about what that could potentially look like, what our recommendations are for both governments, and how we can move forward. Because obviously, we believe the USMCA is a great agreement, CUSMA, is a great agreement, and that it works well, but it's not perfect. There are things that can be tweaked, and that was acknowledged by both leaders today, and the business community agrees. And we definitely are prepared to contribute our thoughts on how to make it better.
All right, Beth Burke, I've got to leave it there. Beth is the CEO of Canadian American Business Council.